It was a rainy Tuesday morning in Portland, the kind where the clouds hang low and everything feels damp even inside your coat. I'd just started my first shift at this local cafe called Brew and Bright. Real cozy spot. Brick walls, soft jazz, the kind of place folks bring books and broken hearts. I was still getting used to the smell of espresso and bleach when the door chimed open and he walked in. Tall gray suit, polished shoes you could check your teeth in. I didn't know his name yet, but the room sure did. Eyes dropped, jaws clenched. The barista next to me whispered, "That's Mason Greer, owns half the buildings in this block." I looked up and the man was already staring like he owned the air I breathed. Mason didn't order. He strutted to the counter, picked up a jar of sugar and twisted it like he was about to do a magic trick. Then, crash. Sugar everywhere. He turned to Carla, the senior barista, maybe in her 50s, hands still raw from steam burns. "Pick that up," he said, "with your mouth." I froze. Everyone did. Carla bent down, trembling. Her hand caught a shard of glass. Blood. Real blood. "I'm sorry, sir," she murmured. "Call me Mr. Greer," he replied loud enough for the whole cafe to hear. I'd like to say I spoke up right then, but I didn't. I just stood there, heart pounding, wondering how this was real life. He wasn't done. "People like you," he hissed, grinding his shoe into the sugar, "were born to serve." A kid at the back covered his ears. His mom pulled him closer, and I just snapped. I stepped forward, scared out of my mind, but I couldn't stand still anymore. "You spilled the sugar," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. Carla did nothing wrong. He turned. "Do you even know who I am?" "Yeah," I said, "you're the guy who told a woman to eat sugar off the floor." The air disappeared. His breath smelled like burnt coffee as he leaned closer. "One phone call and you'll never work in this city again." "Go ahead," I said. "Try." He slammed both hands on the countercups, rattled. Someone gasped, but I didn't flinch. And when he threatened again, I pulled out my phone. "I've been recording since you walked in." Around the cafe, I saw other phones come up. We weren't just workers anymore, we were witnesses. Mason stormed out, slamming the door so hard the glass rang. But I knew that wasn't the end. Men like him didn't lose quietly. Next day, he came back with 2 men in black suits like he was the villain in a courtroom drama. He demanded I kneel. I told him no. That's when he grabbed my wrist tight. But I'd taken a self-defense class back in college. I twisted just right, hit the pressure point. He backed off, hissing. "I'll sue you," he barked. "I've got video," I replied. "Of everything." He tried to buy me off. First 5 grand, then 10. I looked him dead in the eye. I don't sell dignity. His face twisted. He kicked a chair into the wall. And just when it felt like it might get worse, "Issa, you're fired," the manager blurted, panicking. "No," came a calm voice from the doorway. "She stays." It was my dad. Robert Morgan. "Yeah, it turns out I'm not just some girl with an apron. I'm his daughter, and he owns every Brew and Bright in the state." Mason froze. "You're the regional supervisor," No Dad said. "I'm the owner, and she's my daughter." You could hear hearts dropping all over the cafe. Dad banned Mason from all locations, sent his photo to every store. If he walked into one again, we were to call the cops. Mason tried to fight back, swore he'd sue everyone. I told him, "We've already filed harassment reports. Keep talking." He left spitting fire. But I knew he wasn't done. Next thing we know, health inspectors show up out of nowhere. Suppliers ghosted us. Sidewalk out front blocked off. Even customers started whispering about failed inspections, none of it true. It was Mason. We knew, but we didn't panic. We documented everything. My dad called in favors, drove to farms himself for milk. We borrowed sugar from a bakery down the street. Then Mason tried something dirtier. bribed our ex-manager Mark to stage accidents, spoiled milk-planted hairs and pastries. But when I caught Mark whispering too close to a customer and saw a strand of black hair where it didn't belong, I walked right up. "Mark," I said, "calm as a lake, tell Mason we know." His face went pale. He grabbed his two goons and vanished. And for a while things were quiet, until Mason came back. He burst in shouting like a cartoon villain, ranting about how he'd paid for everything: the inspectors, the sabotage, the bribes. He actually said it, out loud, and I was already recording. Then suddenly, he clutched his chest, staggered, and collapsed. People screamed. I didn't hesitate. "Call 911, I yelled. "Move this table." Carla towels. I started chest compressions. My hands pressed the same chest that had held nothing but hate for me. But I didn't care. He was a human being, and I wasn't going to let anyone die in my cafe. The medics came. They saved him, but they said without early CPR, he wouldn't have made it. In the hospital, Mason changed. Slowly. He called his lawyer, confessed everything: bribery, sabotage, abuse. Sent letters of apology. Set up a restitution fund, not charity, but accountability. He stepped down as CEO, sold his penthouse, moved into a small apartment near the bus line. He started working in the cafe, washing dishes, cleaning toilets, learning how to be, not just have. And you know what? He showed up on time. He took notes. He asked for help without barking orders. The man who once told Carla to lick sugar off the floor was now scrubbing that floor beside her. We launched something called the Famoj. Second Chance Foundation, a hotline legal aid emergency fund for service workers like us. Mason helps now not as a face, but as a field rep. No press, no money handling, just showing up where he's needed. I see him sometimes checking sanitizer levels in the back. He keeps a little notebook writing down what he learns. Last week, I caught him staring at our workplace respect poster. He touched it gently, then nodded to me. No words, just a look that said, "I remember where I started." You know, people ask me if I believe in second chances. I say, yeah, but not just handed out. They gotta be earned. With time, with effort, with actions that speak louder than any apology. So, let me ask you, what would you have done? If someone like Mason tried to break you, would you have stayed silent or stood up? And more importantly, if someone truly changes, do they deserve to rebuild? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about what justice really means. And if this story stirred something in you, hit like, share it with someone who needs it, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next story.